Hey guys, I'm out in the garage today organizing, and I realized that I needed a storage solution for my woodworking clamps. I recently bought a few more, and what I was doing before just wasn't going to work. So I threw together this clamp storage rack, and it turned out pretty good. It literally took just a few screws, a single 1x4, and just a few minutes of time. So if you're in need of a clamp storage solution, and this one looks like it might work for you, let me show you how I did it. Here's most of what you're going to need for this project. I also have a couple of examples of the clamps that I use. They're just the pistol grip clamps. This will also work for some F-style clamps. You can also customize the length to fit in the spot that you have to put it in your garage, or depending on how many clamps you have. I went with 40 inches for the space that I have. That'll fit all the clamps that I bought, plus leave me a little bit of room for some more clamps down the road. So the first thing we're going to do is cut two pieces of our 1x4 to 40 inches long. Now with the little piece left over, we need two pieces that are 2.5 inches long. Now for the final two pieces, we need them to be 2.5 inches long, but also 2.5 inches wide. So we're going to trim them down on the table saw here. I've already got the fence set to 2.5 inches. So now we have all the cuts made that we need. We have two pieces of 1x4 at 40 inches, two pieces of 1x4 at 2.5 inches, and then two more pieces cut to 2.5 by 2.5. I'll explain that in just a second. But now we can start to assemble. So we're going to take one of our first 2.5 inch pieces of 1x4 and put it on the end there. The other one we're just going to use over here for a second to hold it up in the right spot. Bring it to the edge of our table, and we're going to secure this piece first. So you want to make sure everything's nice and lined up, and go ahead and clamp it down. Next, we drill pilot holes for the 3 screws that are going to be going into this. Next, we're going to drill pilot holes with countersink, a slight countersink for the 3 screws that will be going in this side. Then we're going to secure it with 3 of our 1.5 inch screws. Now we could just continue to do that on the front and back on both sides. All right, so once you're done that step, you should have a piece that looks like this. 40 inch piece on one side, 40 inch piece on the other side, and a 2.5 inch piece on each end. So next, these are the braces that go in the center. And the reason that they're shorter is because once we put them down here, we want them to be lower down from the top, so that when we hang our clamps, you can hang over top all the way, and these braces won't get in the way. So next, we'll mark the location of these braces so they're spaced evenly. Okay, so now that we have those marked out, we will just go ahead and drill our pilot holes and then throw in some screws. And repeat on the other side. And there you have it. Now we've got a clamp storage rack. So now I'll go ahead and show you how to mount this. So the first step in mounting this is to make sure that wherever you're putting it, you have access to a couple of studs. There's going to be quite a bit of weight with the clamps hanging off this. So we want to make sure that it's well mounted to the wall so we don't have to worry about it falling off. So where I'm mounting this, my studs line up right at 14 inches here, then 16 inches from that, because your studs are always 16 inches on center. 16 inches away from 14 is 30. So we're going to mark that, and then we're going to mark the center. Okay, so we've got the holes marked out for where we want to mount it. So we're going to go ahead and drill a pilot hole for the lag bolts that we're going to use. So I'm going to use a 3/16 drill bit to drill a pilot hole. So once we go to mount this to the wall, using this lag bolt in a tight space where our hole is going to be difficult. So we want to make a small hole in the front on each side, just in front of that hole where the lag bolt's going to go for easy access. So we have our Forstner bit here. We're going to use that to create a hole in the front side so that we can slide a wrench through and the bolt and tighten it down easily. So what we need to do is mark out the same mark that we put on the back where the hole is. We need to transfer those to the front. So we have the marks marked out for where we need to drill our 3/4 inch hole. So we're going to use our Forstner bit here at 3/4 of an inch. There we go, not too bad. And one more. Okay, so this is where I'm going to mount my shelf. I've located the studs. There's one here, one here. I want to line it up with this shelf here just for aesthetics, and it's a height that I can reach. So what I'm going to do is I've drilled a couple of pre-drilled holes here. I've started my bolts a tiny bit just to make it a little bit easier. Now I can go ahead and drill them in. So that's where these holes come in very handy. Now I'll double check that it's level. Let's go up just a tiny bit. Right there's good, and now I can drill in the second lag bolt. And there we have it. Rack's nice and sturdy. Now we can fill it up. So there we go. A quick, small project that had a big impact in fixing our clamp storage problem. If you like this kind of video and you want to see more things like this, please like and subscribe, because you'll never know what we're going to do around here. I'm a real do-it-yourself kind of guy, and there's always something that needs to be done. So come along for the ride and we can learn together. If you have any suggestions, comments, please leave them down below. That'd be fantastic. So remember, get out there, try something new, and we'll see you on the next one.